The shocking finale of Squid Game Season 3 wasn't just about betrayal and bloodshed. It was about legacy, sacrifice, and one of the most unexpected survivors in the series' brutal history. While chaos erupted across the final games, a single thread of hope carried through it all. Player 222's newborn baby. Today on MMX Night, we're uncovering how a baby became the ultimate winner of Squid Game. Ready? Let's begin. Season 3 of Squid Game delivered a brutal, emotional, and shocking end to the twisted survival saga. But among the chaos, one storyline stood out as the most heartbreaking and hopeful: the fate of Junhee's newborn baby. Player 222's child, barely hours old, not only survived the final rounds of deadly games, but became the symbolic heart of the story, fueling Guihan's final acts of selflessness and becoming the official winner of the Squid Game. Let's break down exactly what happened to the baby and why this storyline gave Season 3 its most powerful message. A baby in the game, the most twisted VIP demand yet. Jo Yuri's character, Junhee, player 222, entered Season 3 pregnant, a high-stakes detail already packed with emotional weight. During one of the early games, her water breaks. With the help of her fellow players, she gives birth amid terror, pain, and surveillance. What began as a moment of humanity quickly becomes horror when the VIPs, seeking entertainment, demand that the newborn be considered an official player. The frontman, Hwang In-ho, reluctantly agrees. From that point forward, the baby becomes the new player 222, replacing her mother, who, tragically, is too injured to continue and sacrifices herself so that her child might live. Junhee's final wish was simple and devastating: make sure she lives. And it's that plea that becomes Guihan's purpose. Guihan's final choice: life over victory. As the final games commence, only a few players remain: Guihan, Myung-gi, and the baby. The last challenge is a variation of the deadly Sky Squid Game, where at least one player must die for the round to count. Myung-gi, however, is overcome by paranoia and rage. He accuses Guihan of trying to steal his daughter and even threatens to kill the child if Guihan doesn't back off. A brutal fight ensues, ending with Myung-gi falling to his death. But because the round hadn't officially begun, his death doesn't count. This leaves Guihan and the baby as the only two players left, and one of them must die. Most would have chosen to live. Most would justify letting an infant perish to save themselves. But Guihan wasn't like most. Season 3 built on the evolution of his character, a man who had been shattered, manipulated, and used, yet still found it in him to believe in goodness. In that moment, he chose to sacrifice himself. Without hesitation, Guihan places the baby down, walks to the edge, and ends his life, making the baby the sole survivor and official winner of the Squid Game. What happens after the games? Season 3 ends with a 6-month time jump. The island has exploded. The game, as we know it, is over. But the question remains, what happened to the baby? Enter the frontman. While often cold and mechanical, In-ho reveals shades of humanity in these final moments. He takes the baby off the island and ensures her survival. Eventually, he leaves her in the care of his estranged brother, Detective Hwang Jun-ho, placing the child in his apartment with a card linked to the cash prize and a single message: she is the winner. Jun-ho, who had been on a mission to expose the games, now finds himself with a new purpose. Though still processing his brother's role in the carnage, Jun-ho accepts the child and the responsibility that comes with her. The Squid Game may have taken everything from him, but now it has given him someone to protect. The baby's future remains uncertain. She'll grow up in a world where her birth came during televised death games. Whether she ever learns the truth about her parents or the Squid Game is unclear, but she now has a guardian in Jun-ho, a man who knows the system and has vowed to fight it. The baby's symbolic role: Guihan's hope for humanity. Junhee's baby was more than a character. She was a symbol. In a world designed to strip humans of dignity, love, and selflessness, she represented the future that Guihan still believed in. Throughout Season 3, we watched him wrestle with disillusionment, loss, and regret. He lost friends. He lost purpose. But in caring for that baby, he rediscovered who he was. In a final monologue before his death, Guihan utters, "We are not horses. We are humans. Humans are," before falling. The unfinished sentence echoes the core question of Squid Game. Are humans worth saving? Guihan's answer, written in his final act, was yes. Player 456 was not the only one in this season to show that humans are capable of doing good things even in extreme circumstances. For example, Hyunju had the chance to complete hide-and-seek and move on to the next round, but she chose to go back to help Jeomja, Junhee, and the baby. Likewise, even at the height of her grief, Jeomja asked that Guihan help player 222 and the baby. Some might question why Guihan would let his own daughter grow up without a father to save somebody else's child, but that is exactly the point of his character. Player 456 was selfless, and while he had some dark moments, including the killing of Daeho, he would never let a helpless child die just so that he could survive. The legacy of player 222's baby. Whether or not the baby ever learns the truth about her parents or the horrifying reality of the Squid Game, her existence stands as a monumental shift in the series' thematic core. She is not merely a survivor. She is the embodiment of resistance, innocence, and the ultimate rebuttal to a system designed to crush hope. While the games were built to prove that desperation turns people into monsters, the survival of this child proves otherwise, that compassion and self-sacrifice still exist even in the darkest corners of humanity. Through her, Guihan's beliefs persist. His final choice was not just about saving one life. It was about preserving a future untainted by the violence and manipulation that consumed the rest of the players. His soul, his defiance, and his humanity now live on in the baby he gave his life to protect. And through her, the rebellion against the Squid Game system doesn't need an army. It needs only one life, lived freely. The baby never spoke. She never competed. She had no strategy. But she endured. In a narrative where every choice meant survival or death, her very presence becomes the loudest scream for change. In a world that demands violence to prove worth, her quiet survival is a revolution in itself. In the twisted logic of the Squid Game, where only the brutal are meant to win, this silent, innocent child flipped the rules without ever playing. That is her legacy, and perhaps is also the beginning of something greater. And there you have it. Squid Game Season 3 delivers a gut-wrenching, emotional, and unforgettable finale that changes everything. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any new videos. See you in the next one. Peace.